Welcome everybody to the Spincast episode, whatever it is. You tell me. I don't know. That's Lee's job. Five of the new season. I love it how we're seasons and everything like that. I'm Brian Kellison with Lee Zavries and Brian White, respectively. Did you guys have a good week?
Super good. Very good.
Super good. Wow, that was like that was choice.
Yeah, mine was pretty busy. I didn't ride very much, but pretty busy for volunteering for my daughter's signature event for Bex Robotics. So it was 5 days of much more activity than this crippled guy's been used to over the past.
This is the actual coal miner's daughter.
Yeah, the actual coal miner's daughter.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, she did very well, and this is I know the world of robotics is kind of new in the competition side of it. It's not BattleBots, but this is a very prestigious event. They only have 20 of them across the whole entire United States, and they had one, and they finished top 16 out of 70 some teams, so you can't complain.
Very cool. I like robots, and I liked watching your stuff that you were sharing. I watched your dog robot.
Yeah, my daughter's. You could buy that. Like, you have to send an email to Boston Dynamics, and they're about $15,000. So if you want that,
that's it.
Yeah. Now on the website it says 75,000. Like, the website, but when you Google it, it says in 2020. Well, the guy telling me said the prices come down now, and you don't have to have a specific reason. But if you want a robo dog like that, you email Boston Dynamics sales, and you can get one for about $15,000.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, is it you're controlling it, or is it like AI? Can you start
Both.
to?
Yeah, I have videos. I didn't upload them to YouTube or anything. I just have the one that I shared. But excuse me. You have like it's basically I forget what system it is, but it's a controller, and it has a screen, like a tablet in the middle,
like a Stream Deck or something.
Yeah, kind of like a switch in a way. And
yeah,
you're watching the cameras, and you can literally. We were playing fetch with it. You throw the ball, you click on the ball, the thing would hop over to it, pick it up, bring it back to you, and then you can control it. Because I was controlling it, it took a water bottle out of my mom's hand, turned around, spun around, and handed it back to her. So it's absolutely phenomenal what is available, and I can purchase it if I had 15,000 spare dollars.
I was thinking it would be like $150,000. That's why.
Yeah, in 2020 when they first started selling, they were 75, and the price is down, and there's no restriction. Like, you have to have a specific purpose to buy it.
Can it help me with my cycling? That's my question.
Maybe it could spin the pedals a little bit.
Somebody's laundry's done.
Yeah,
it's our music.
It's our music. I was gonna say the Samsung dryer ending.
Yeah, it's just a guess. I don't have a Samsung dryer, but I know that some of them play tones.
Yeah.
All right, what do we want to get into? We want to go, because the topics on the table are, what was it? Story time.
Yeah, we got random story time with Marblehead Nines. Let's see.
9 stories of the week. That's what we need. Marblehead 9 stories of the week.
All right. I am not a runner. I'll post this on Twitch so anyone here can see it. DC Rainmaker. Like, I don't follow running at all, and I barely pay attention to Strava challenges anymore because there's 17,000. You know. So I saw this pop up on DC Rainmaker. It says Strava's Chipotle Burrito Challenge ends with insanity. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know there was a challenge, but let's go figure it out. So basically, they chose 6 Chipotles across the country, and they had
You are destroying the way that word is said.
I don't know.
Chipotle. It's Chipotle.
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 Chipotle. I guess that's my ignorance.
You can just say Chipotle, like Jack in a Box.
Chipotle. All right, so Chipotle.
The restaurant Chipotle, right? Not the pepper.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the restaurant burrito chain.
Got it. All right, Strava competition.
Chipotle. So basically, they were giving away whoever had the most segments in this area. It's about a 300-meter segment. Whoever completed it the most got a free year of burritos.
What?
Yeah. So,
which is like a burrito a day. That's it.
Yeah.
You get like a card that's like one burrito a day.
Right.
Or you get 365 of them, I guess.
I scanning through here, I don't see the exact rules per se, but like the one guy who won in Washington, D.C. had 1,345 attempts. Columbus, Ohio had like 1,200 or something. And it goes down the list. Well, here, the rules say, and the guys, where was it? Los Angeles. The rules say in the event that 2 or more entrants are tied, the tied winners will get a prize. So these 5 guys in Los Angeles, they like use the Strava DM, say, hey, do you want to like just tie? They even emailed Chipotle and said, hey, if we tie, do we still get it? And it's like, yes, if there is a tie, whoever gets it. So all 5 of these guys had 369 attempts on this segment, and all 5 got a free year of burritos. So Los Angeles,
Game in the system.
Game in the system. Yeah.
That's like 370 kilometers of running. That one segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like one of the segments, I don't know which one it was. I don't remember now. Maybe Washington, D.C. was really tricky because you had to cross 2 streets and there was like some weird thing to it.
So you just do the you just had to ride. You had to run the segment.
Yeah.
In its entirety as many times as possible.
Yep. And it was like a month.
You don't have to be the KOM. You don't have to win it. You just have to do it as.
Yep.
What I was thinking in my head was there was going to be like 10,000 people all trying to run down the sidewalk on the same 300-meter segment over and over again. And there's going to be fights and people pushing because that many people couldn't fit on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just whoever completed the most segments. And so 5 guys from Los Angeles, they read the rules and said, hey,
so usually that works out in the favor of Chipotle getting, or the whoever is the sponsor gets the news. So like 5 people eating a burrito a day.
Yeah.
Even if they're going to eat a burrito a day, it's still not.
Oh yeah. And there's going to be PR when they come in for their 250th burrito. There's going to be a picture in the newspaper.
No, I'm somebody that would eat it every day.
I totally would. I'd go out of my way to get my burrito.
I would do the 2-item move.
That's
what I know. You know what a 2-item move is? It's like a $2 burrito. You get 2 items.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I get beans and rice, and then I go over and I just give my own Tabasco sauce or whatever is in the restaurant. And beans and rice is all I want. I don't want to spend tons of bucks. Otherwise, if you add one more item, it's like $14 burrito.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. We have a Chipotle, but I haven't been there in forever because no one else eats it.
My wife doesn't really like the rice because they put cilantro in it, but she gets other stuff that doesn't have cilantro. Okay, that was a good random story time with Brian.
Yeah, it's made me kind of wow.
Yeah, we gamed the system. We'll go on to racing. Anyone race this week? I did. Lee did. Brian actually raced. He was in the Infinity War, Secret Wars, Zwift. Was it Zwift Racing League Tuesday? The Tuesday special. I watched you and Casey. Yeah,
that hurt me a lot.
Now, is that serious racing? Is that casual or competitive?
That is, I'd say, the borderline of your casual competitive, because you've got guys who are doing it just, I'll jump in. And then you've got guys that that's their race the whole week that they prepare for. Okay. So for me, it was I can't sprint, but I will do the best I can to hang on. And I had to bridge back a couple of times, but thankfully everyone else in the front group was tired. So I was able to, because I'm climbing at my limit and then they could sprint above that, where right now my current fitness, I can't. So yeah, that's CRL. Anyone who did it and anyone that was in the front group, you guys are legends, because Yeah, that was nasty.
So that to me, that seems like more of a camaraderie building race rather than, hey, this is something to stick your feather in your cap or whatever, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Well, I can see that because I mean, you have a teammate or teammates. Like I'm racing with Casey and the X guys. I know Casey and that's it. But you're also kind of thinking like, hey, I want to hang on for the team. You know what I mean? Like, so when I was before my knee surgery, when I did the electric, well, I'm still with Electric Spirit, but I can't even come close to Division 1 efforts. But yeah, you got to know those guys and you're like, hey, like I will do this for you in it. But I took it serious because I wanted to do well. It was just a personal, I don't want to let myself down because I want to be in, I want this result. That's kind of like, but they had the camaraderie. Like I know the coalition guys, we got pretty tight racing, but then there's no
like who, okay. So name the last 3 teams that won. It's not even a thing. It's not like,
you get like you get some sort of Zwift
firm handshake. Oh, you get a Zwift helmet. Oh, you get free digital stuff. Great.
With the ZRL is they have the playoffs on like a weekend, so the races are always Tuesday, and then they're like, "Yay, you did awesome! You're gonna race in the playoffs." Guess what? It's Saturday at 1 p.m. and then all my team is like, "I can't do that."
Yeah, isn't it like 2 days in a row? But aren't there like a couple of events? I've only been in the playoffs once, and I couldn't. Just like you said, I couldn't go.
That would be a good statistic. How many ZRL teams that make the playoffs don't actually race in the playoffs?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And nobody hears about it. It's always about, hey, ZRL or ZRL, whoever wants to claim whatever how you say it. But let's just say Zwift Racing League, like who is seeing it through? It's like, oh, we did so great last season, and it's like firm handshake. Next season we're going to do it, or is it just a competitive workout? Seems like CrossFit to me now.
My last ZRL league, my team swept the C1 division, swept it, and we didn't make the playoffs. Like no one could go at that time. So, but you'd think ZRL would have been dude,
you got the playoffs, you got to the playoffs, but you didn't compete in the playoffs, and you lost your position.
But like going into the playoffs, we had won every race. Our team won every race. So you think ZRL would have been like, "Hey, man, we'd really like to see you in the playoffs," and then we'd be like, "Well, it's a dumb time."
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's a Zwift thing because that's Zwift's race. As much as we equate it to, is that the right word? I don't know. Equate it to WTRL, which is World Training Racing League. I don't know what WTRL stands for.
World Tactical Racing
World Tactical Racing League. Yeah, sure. Bombarded with more acronyms. The people that put it on is WTRL, but the people that are actually the ones behind it, so like the promoter or the organizers, are Zwift. That's what Martin Carew said on the Virtual Villa podcast.
Zwift is paying WTRL to run the series.
Correct. Yeah, and that's good. You should be paying for handling all that stuff. It's like Zwift's like, hey, we're going to hire you to do this for us. Boom, got it. So our race was, we did the Canada versus the world round 3. I myself.
It was supposed to be live streamed, but ZCL had a issue.
Oh,
which I'm sad because I launched an attack because I was still with the main group.
Yeah, I saw it.
And I was like, well, you're allowed to put your camera feed into ZCL's Zoom. And there was 3 of us. Only 3 people shared their camera. So Nathan's like, dude, there's only 3 of you. Like, you're totally going to get
where the email was.
Yeah, it was in like Cycling Canada's like Discord server. That was the only place I found about it.
That's a great place to have it.
Well, that's where, yeah. So, anyways, I'm like,
as an
couldn't believe
American,
that-
it's always a good place to go to the Cycling Canada, even though I am on the.
Well, it is
Discord,
Canada
but
versus the world, you know, like it's put on by Cycling Canada.
yeah,
I was like,
thinking
man,
about doing it, but I forgot. I didn't know
that
what the
course
race was.
started with a downhill. So I was able to hold on for like 7 minutes. And I was like, man, I should just go for it.
That was a tough race for me. Everyone was sticking around. Plus, we had this sort of, you know how it is. Since it is a casual race, open to all, I guess there was a rider in the 45 to 54, 55, whatever it was.
Z Power.
It wasn't. I didn't even notice Z Power. I was just trying to race and have fun.
I heard it was Z Power.
Z Power, that like he would stop, and I'm like, oh, he lost power. I said this on my stream. I'm like, oh, that guy lost power, and he was out because the guy Bleg, whatever his name is, I did an attack, and I think he chased me back. But then later on, he was like going to zero and falling off. I'm like, oh, he must have had a disconnect. And for me, I'm Mr. not immediately calling them a cheater or questionable, and I'm just thinking, oh, they're having a power outage. Not a power of their house, but like a trainer power outage or power meter power outage or whatever it is. And then people in chat were like, oh, phony this, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I'm like I'm putting two and two together. I'm like, and then I eventually chimed in with, who cares? Like, who cares? It's to that point. If it was in like Echelon Racing League, or if I was in the Premier League or whatever it's called, Zwift Grand Prix, and weird stuff was happening, then I would be like, yeah, that's just frustrating. But casual, like open to the public, who cares? I mean, it's kind of the point where it's like, whatever.
The only thing that I'm looking at the results now, he is not on Zwift Power, and I know you hate Zwift Power, but that's the thing. Like, he was race affecting, and that's kind of like with Casey and me. Like when we talk offline, that's the thing. We don't. Yeah, like,
I've talked about that multiple times. But yeah, right. I'm with you. Yeah, we've all talked about it. It's like, that's why. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Well, so it's. I feel this, build up to the Canadian World or Nationals. It should be held to a little bit higher of a standard. Yeah, anyone can join. It's all fun, and it's training for the guys who are going to compete in the ENATs. But like, for you trying to attack, and because there's points, it's not just, hey, Zwift Power, whatever, or Zwift.com results. So like, that's kind of because there's more to it than just, hey, I got this race here in 10 minutes. I'm going to go do it. And whatever happens, what happens. That aspect, yeah, that's fine. That one A+ 70-year-old that you had, that guy probably has no idea what 440 watt FTP is, if he actually is 70 or whatever. He probably gets a workout, and that's it. That's great for him. He just has no idea. And I'm sure there's cases like that, So this was frustrating, because you guys were racing, and I know you and Scott had talked beforehand about potentially making a move, and you went off the attack. And I'm in Scott's chat saying, hey, this is what BK wants if and when you catch him. You catch him, and he wants you to attack because you're his teammate at this point. I kind of know it, but and
not on the teammates. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We were just working together. We were just, hey, friendly foes, right?
Right. Yeah. But as soon as you got 4 seconds, maybe, Blade came up and just brought you back immediately. And there was another guy that had some decent power that was on Zwift Power, and he didn't even really finish that high, which I was kind of surprised. But
those riders are affecting the race. And here's the thing: they're not only affecting the race themselves, they're now putting it in people's minds that any attack is futile, because there's this, like, I'm just going to get chased down by some random Zwift Power person, which I wasn't even paying attention. Most of the time I'm looking up the road, or I'm looking behind. I'm looking at the avatars, which I probably shouldn't do. I should just ride by like text based, because the game is client side. So whatever I'm seeing on the screen is sometimes not reality.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just
though.
I'm a big dumb animal, so I just look up. I ride a lot with just visually looking up, and I look at the avatars. I look at what the game is giving me. I'm a more visual person than like, oh, what's your power? What's this? And your heart rate. Like, I don't even look at my heart rate. I don't look at my power. All I looked at was what power up I had. And then I knew that I was going to save that power up because I had the feather on the last lap for the climb. And I was like, I'm going to attack on the climb. And then maybe I can hold a little TT effort to the final little snaky thing to the finish and see if no one chases. But that didn't work out. I had a weird resistance thing over the crest of the climb and on the downhill. It's like I couldn't find the right gear. And I was just like, I don't know what it, I don't know what's going on. So it's like, I wasn't frustrated that my attack got brought back. I didn't think it was going to get away because people were working hard to stay with me. I have a visitor.
Well, the update kind of might have something to do with the resistance. The BK feels. I spin it all the time, and that's if I'm not using the Wahoo app set like as a slope mode, essentially like 2.5% grade. I have Inivelo doing the same exact thing. So I'm kind of doing, and that's what who was it? E. Chardon. I'm not 100% sure who that is, but in BK's chat, he was trying to.
I think that's. I'm not trying to just say this. I think it's Ned Bowen.
Ned Bowen. It may be.
But I think it might be a different avatar. I'm used to just seeing people with, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's not Ned, I apologize, Ned. It's somebody else. But we were talking about a solution to get more the proper resistance, and I was just
right because I have a one-by system, and I can't, like, I can ride within it because I've done it sometimes. Like, especially this past week, whenever I've been issues with my PC, and I just let it ride, and I can ride. But like, if I do any effort, I got about 400-ish watt, like 430 watts, about all I can do. And I agree that like outside, I don't have an issue with power. But when I'm riding indoor on all the platforms, I always spin out, and I have the same gear, the 4611. So
yeah, see, I don't spin out on everything.
Yeah.
I spin out on Zwift.
Yeah.
And it seems more recently.
Well, in this update, 1.57, and this is kind of, let's see, I said this the right way. This makes me irritated because if you read the highlighted part, and this is 2 days. I went back and looked. 2 days went by before they rolled this back. So how many people got this phase stupid update in 2 days, and less than 10 people had trainer issues, and they rolled it back? Less than 10 people.
Why would they roll it back for 10?
For less, yeah. We take this serious, but geez, how many times have we had some other big issue that took weeks to fix? Right. That's what I mean. I've never played a game, and I'm going to say this, for the past 3 years, I kind of got back into PC gaming, but I've never played a game that has an update that isn't available for everyone. Like that, when they changed their jungle, gravel resistance, we did a test. I didn't get the update because I'm blacklisted. I always get it last. Casey had it. I went in, and that was absolutely miserable. But that's a game, completely game changing. Like when Zwift does things like that, it should be everyone. But I'm guessing it took 13 days or something to get this update. And then all the updates from the 1.57, they're not even in. They just did these 10 people that had issues. They got their issues fixed, and then they gave us the update. I have no idea what it was for. Like it was really odd, but there might be something with that, because I was trying to draft Slow Spoon, and we're doing Zone 2, and I'm fairly decent at the Zwift draft, and I struggled because I really had to focus. I was either doing the same amount of watts as Spoon, or like whenever I started backing off, I got dropped immediately. Today, riding with Coco, I felt the same exact thing. I was either going off the front or getting dropped, and I'm riding. Like, we're riding at 2.6 watts per kilogram, which I think is what she is. I was off the front and lost my multiplier for my useless drops. and then I dropped back to 2.2 in our draft, and right gone. And I also hate how they updated the dynamic, how it changes pace. I just want my Coco and whoever I'm with to ride the same pace. Maybe that's just me, but
You need to
that's
ride
annoying.
Mywhoosh.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
Well,
did a segue into Mywhoosh. Segue into Mywhoosh.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like a broken record on this, but Zwift, like every other video game in the world, needs to pick a day.
yeah.
Thursday at 10 a.m. And they postpone all updates, and updates happen at Thursday at 10 a.m. If they have to shut the servers down for 20 minutes, so be it. Thursday at 10 a.m. is update day. And as soon as the servers go live, everyone has the update in the world
Exactly.
at Thursday at 10 a.m. This phased rollout thing is a bunch of crap.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I mean,
like Fortnite updates. I think it's Tuesday. Thursday it goes live. I think it's the same exact thing you're saying.
World
like
of
every day.
Warcraft since 2006 has been Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The entire world goes down for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
At 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And everyone knows, hey, it's 10 a.m. Tuesday. I just won't play today. Like, you can stop Zwifting for 10 minutes. If you're actually in the game, you get a huge warning saying the server is shutting down in 15 minutes. Please log out.
Yeah.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
Yeah, I hate the phase rollouts too. Like I'm big on the anti part of it, especially when they had the new freaking world, like the new ad thing. I was on the the forums here bitching, and some guy is like, "Oh, blah 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 blah." Well, he's riding behind Shane Miller because he's had it. You know, he was one of the guys who had it before everyone. So yeah, he's going to tell me to be quiet because he's been riding it for a week or whatever, because he was one of the early access members. So
and that's
annoying.
the problem, is going to the forums, because if you go to the forums and complain, all the Zwift people come to their Zwift defense. And so I've stopped going to the forum, because even if I have one minor complaint, everyone's like, "Oh, you're lame. You suck. Zwift is awesome." And I'm like, dude, this is like ridiculous.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
See, what I find kind of interesting is there's some people that don't even ride Zwift anymore that are still in their forums spouting their mouth off.
No.
As experts.
That's why you get so fired up sometimes, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I got fired up with my
your own
too.
fire. You fuel up your own. Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Mywhoosh time. All right. That's enough for Zwift. Let's talk Mywhoosh.
Oh, Mywhoosh.
Yeah, I was upset at Zwift.
Yeah.
Started to Mywhoosh. Guess what happened to Mywhoosh? Boop. Error can't be found, or some file is missing. I got to re-download it. Or I uninstalled it and went to re-download it. There's an error. It says we cannot process. We have a problem on our end. So I am Mywhooshless right now. No idea why. What happened? I don't know.
And the Microsoft Store is sort of not helping matters, because you have to get it through the Microsoft Store.
I never checked mine actually after you guys were having
for Windows, and
I don't know.
I think we discussed this, that there's a Mac version now. There was a beta during December. It took a month, and it was just released 2 days ago. Yesterday,
I think 2 days ago.
Yeah. So for all those Mac gamers like Frackberg, member of the community,
I think Pookie.
I think Pookie does, because he has better Bluetooth connectivity. But yeah, so without a visitor. But you wanted to touch on the Mywhoosh. Go for it.
All right. So we've got. I've been thinking about this. Casey Schum shared an image with me from 5 years ago. So what would that be? 2018, 19? I don't know the exact, but it was the Twitch All-Stars, which at that time was all basically, community amateur riders. And they did this racing contest. I don't know the format to it. It was just, they did a points race. Team Zwift All-Stars won. And he said this was whenever the pro teams realized that they can't just show up and win. That us amateurs are an actual something to reckon with indoor cycling. So that got me thinking. And then this event, I disagree with it. For the UCI Worlds Championship, how they're doing this. But what is
why
indoor cycling?
Hold on. Why do you disagree with it?
Well, I disagree with it because my mindset of racing my bicycle is not what this is.
You like scratch racing. You like point to point or loops or laps or whatever, and then first across the line.
And you can even do, different, you've got a time trial. You might have a hilly course in it or something like that, like a 3-day event kind of thing. That's my mind.
You want a stage race for the World Championships.
But what is indoor cycling? What is it? How many people show up for these tiny races? I hate them. I've never done one. That's not riding.
I've never done one, but I hate them.
I hate the concept of them. How about that? I've never done a short, like 5 kilometer, one lap volcano circuit. But what is it? This is the thing. In Casey's comment saying this is what made the
Casey
pros.
Shum, by the way. Casey Shum.
Yes, Casey Shum. Yes, CX try X.
Shum or Shum? I think it's Shum.
I always say Shum, but I don't know.
I believe he says it's Shum.
Have it up on the screen as well.
Yeah, we have it up on the screen.
3 different races.
Yeah. So, but this, I think, in reality,
okay, did you preface what this is, what you're talking about, or did you just go right into it? This is what
right off the bat.
Yeah, that was. I'm not losing my mind, right, Lee? He's like, 5 years ago, I got something, and then my dog came in, and I was like, whatever. Okay, let's backtrack. The UCI and Mywhoosh released what the format of the World Championships will be in October. Is this what you're referring to? Is this what you've been talking about?
Right. It's because Casey's comment made me start thinking.
And when was his comment? Like
he sent it. We were talking just about different racing stuff, and he said, "Hey, 5 years ago, I had this," and that's whenever the Twitch All Stars, all community members, had beat pro teams, like these, 12 different pro teams. And that was like, started thinking, I was like, okay, my mind of road racing, like what I used to do whenever it was in my area, but that's not what indoor e-cycling is. That's not like, so I think that's a thing that this is what it actually is. These races, people show up for the tiny races. People, obviously with Zwift events, very few people are doing longer than an hour events.
Over an hour is tough for people.
Right. So
this is just me pulling my opinion out of the thin air. But like, I think over an hour race is tough for people. Now, a world championship chance at winning a jersey and a medal, I don't care what you prefer, but spectator, think of it as spectator / promoting it, creating excitement for the spectators, let alone the competitors. What is more exciting? A grind 6-hour, world championship on the road, and to see who survives until the last attack with a kilometer to go or 2 kilometers to go, or like when Matthew Van Der Poel did his attack on the road championships. That is the difference for me. The difference is these are emotionless, no facial expression, no nothing avatars on a screen.
Yeah.
If you don't have some sort of hey, there's something going on with the sprint. Race 1 is the sprint. Race 2 is the strategy. Race 3 is the all out, right? And I haven't read this all the way through, but
I read it.
Yeah. So we'll get into it so you guys can break it down. But I'm thinking, think of it as, hey, how do we encapsulate something quickly, not draw out like a 6-hour broadcast, which as much as you would like, how much advertising can you sell? Is there even advertising you can sell? All these different things for an esport. It's like emotionless, all this stuff. There's not that many stories. Maybe you build it up. It's not going to be the Super Bowl. So then now let's go into the nuts and bolts of what the actual competition is. But that's my take on. I understand your frustration, but I understand the purpose of trying to make it interesting and exciting.
I put the link in the chat here, but a quick summary of all 3 races. Race number 1, riders will set their fastest time over a 300-meter individual time sprint. Race number 2, second race. It's all about 3 intermediate sprints per circuit. Race number 3. The final race will take place over a 4-kilometer circuit with points to be earned on a short, sharp climb each lap. It's the exact same race 3 times in a row. Like exactly the same. Each one is based on a short sprint segment of who's the fastest over a short sprint segment. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they read this?
That's where I don't like this format. It may be exciting. It may bring people in. It very well may. But I would like this with the CRL race we just did with all these sprints. I could hang on the back, barely. But I ain't competing in this. I mean, I would never compete in the UCI Worlds anyway. But this is essentially what indoor racing is developing into. These short, high VO2, less than 1 hour efforts. You know, like that is maybe not, you know, Brian Kellison, that may not be your idea. That might not be Zavaris's idea. That's not what I enjoy racing. But if you look at the people that go crazy over Zwift Tiny or the Zwift Insider Tiny races and these shorts, the whole Zwift warm-up race done in less than an hour, like that whole culture is what this is turning into. And just like the on RGT, the Tuesday NorCal, that was all what, half hour ish, you know, and it was fun.
Yeah, Dan said it was like 30 to 35 minute races.
I think that our pre-programming, like if I go for a ride outside with my buddies, you know, we're going for 2 or 3 hours. And I think that's the difference. I'm training for that. But the overall racing is the short stuff. And like you said, Brian, they've got to make it interesting. But for me, it's a 20-hour flight to the United Emirates. I'm going to race for an hour and fly back home. I have a new take.
Okay. After defending it for like, hey, a broadcast and excitement thing, I'm now thinking of it as they might not have the draft figured out, and they might not have the draft figured out by then.
I would say that's totally what it is.
And they're like, hey, just have these people sprint. And they don't have, and you can get the draft if you want. Because I remember reading that where it's like, hey, you can attempt this as many times as you want in the 15 minutes, and you can do it as many times as you want, and you can strategize with using it to gain an advantage with the draft or whatever. But maybe that's just a technical, like this is a exciting and technical limitation.
You saying that about the draft? You, Barney, were testing a direct connect and whatever that day.
I still don't have the ticket in. I got to get the ticket in. I haven't edited that video. I know. Okay.
I would like, since you have direct connect and I don't, I would like for you to try drafting and getting in. You know,
I was going to do that, but I overslept and I turned off my alarm. It was a 1:45 race this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. West Coast Sunday Race Club, which is
the Sunday Race Club. Yeah.
Which is, it used to be 3 a.m., but now it's, I think, a 2 a.m. race. Like I tried to go to sleep and then I was like, oh, okay, I'll wake up. And then I woke up and it was like, I hit the alarm at 1 a.m. and I'm like, I'll get up. And I was going to hit snooze to get like another 5 minutes and I hit off. And then I woke up at 1:35 with like a 1:45 like start. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I went back to bed.
So when I read this though, the most amazing sentence. So we've already figured out that every race is a sprint race. So this amazing sentence right here, the addition of a sprint race is a new feature introduced for the 2024 UCI Cycling Esports World Championships, aiming to provide maximum opportunities for all types of riders to earn points. Who what rider type is going to earn all the points in a 300-meter sprint?
No, 300-meter sprint is pretty. It's short enough. It's short enough. Yeah, the sprinters will get it, but I know
world-class guys that do 900 watts for a minute. They're going to scorch this like 300 meters.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that can only do 200, or they're like 150 at like 1300.
Well, from this point on, every single dude is now training for 300-meter sprints.
I'm just trying to figure out why they did this.
I think what you said is correct. Their draft is horrible, and they're like, how do we not show this to the world stage that our draft is horrible? Let's just make it an individual sprint, for everyone.
Yeah, and I know with Ant Plus on Mywhoosh, it's a 2 to 3 second delay. And I think that's why the draft feels so bad. So I'm really curious about Kellison and his direct connect, because it seemed like dead on. So like whenever I think it was in Australia, there's a small loop that I was doing a little race on, like a 2 or 3 laps. It had a ramp. I'd be at 400 watts or whatever. It'd level out. I'd be stuck at my 400 watts. I'd get to the next little ramp, and then it would like level off. It was like 2 to 3 seconds. And same thing, I'd go through the arch. I wasn't pedaling, and the game was still putting out 450 watts. So I'm curious to see if it's direct connect that fixes that, or it's the actual game problem. Because I just thought it was a game kind of sucked with the draft. But seeing Kellison, the way that direct connect worked or reacted, it may be how the information is put, set and received between the game and your trainer. So I don't know. That's something I'd be curious to see. And once the ticket's submitted.
Yeah, but not everyone has direct connect. So
right.
It's still,
but
it's like if you had direct connect, it should react better. And so the draft should. So here's the thing for people that don't know what direct connect is. Direct connect is hard connection using the Bluetooth protocol, but it gives you a more stable connection than Bluetooth itself. Bluetooth handshake. This is more of a broadcast thing.
It connects your trainer to your local network.
Yeah,
but it does use the Bluetooth channel in the game.
Yeah, but you can have Bluetooth, and it's a different handshake, right? It's different because I my secondary power in Mywhoosh is Bluetooth, because it's the power link. Because that's the way Mywhoosh works is you can have Ant Plus or Direct Connect for your primary, and your secondary is only Bluetooth. If you didn't know that, your secondary is only Bluetooth.
That would explain why Mywhoosh never picked up any data from it. Correct. Because my Bluetooth quit broadcasting data. It connects, but there's no actual data. Okay, I didn't know that. So thank you.
I believe that's sort of like nothing else shows up when you go to secondary power.
Okay.
But the game, you're not. So a lot of people are like, because we did this test, and Casey, I was doing this with RGT when we first had the race mode or whatever. I was doing race mode test. It was like, everyone's like, oh, free watts or free something. It was like, oh, you get this. It's like, no. Your information is still going only to the game, or you're doing power. It's sending that to the game. Ant Plus is on a delayed. It's a slower data transfer, where Direct Connect gets it sooner. So your rider goes off the front, but the Ant Plus will eventually catch up to it. New toy for the dog. Lulu's in the back. Guest star. So the way that people are going, oh yeah, Direct Connect is like, no, it's like you don't get across. You do come across, like, let's say you're doing a sprint, you come across the line first, but the back end is whoever's got the fastest across the line. And so the Ant Plus will delay the information, but the information is still the same. Make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, I got Direct Connect, I'm getting an advantage. No, you're not really gaining an advantage. You're gaining faster and more accurate updates to the game.
Yeah, because
right?
I know when I was
Go ahead.
when I was looking through this stuff with my DQ from Indie Velo, I can't remember exactly, but I do think the Bluetooth was actually updating quicker than
Probably. Then your Amp
Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, usually.
And that caused issues. That's what was causing issues.
Maybe.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, but the data is the same. I mean, if
The
you're
data's
doing,
the same, but-
if like the trainer has whatever the 3 protocols, right? It has Amp Plus, Bluetooth, and it has Direct Connect. If you have a Direct Connect trainer, and you do a sprint and you hit, whatever 1,000 watts for 10 seconds, that 1,000 watts goes to Amp Plus at 1,000 watts, and it goes to Bluetooth and it goes to Direct Connect at the same thing. It's not like you're gaining an advantage over it. If your power meter is pretty spot on and you're only on Bluetooth or Amp Plus, it's taking whatever the data is going in. And Casey's going to be on I think the 25th, so we can ask him that question and get him more clarification on it. But yeah, so yeah, this is weird, the Mywhoosh thing. I didn't really read the thing. I was focused on other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like 3 sprints, right?
Yeah.
They just word it different. Like they don't come out and flat out say, but when you read into it more, each one is a short timed segment that gets you all the points, except for the final race where the final lap, your finishing spot is worth double points. But if you won the sprint on the first 3 laps, you're probably not going to lose. You could fall off back, and probably double points isn't going to make up the fact that you kicked off.
So if you look at it, the sprint is just a time trial. It's a 300-meter time trial. The strategy is
a short time trial.
No, but it's a 9-kilometer circuit. So like when I did the ENATs for the United States, it's 9 kilometers, but it has 3 intermediate sprints. So like you're going to get finishing points, I'm assuming, and you can do sprints across the thing. So it's a sprint race, but it's 9 kilometers. Now you're zooming out and I can't read that. Now the third one is all out. It's 4 times. So it's 4 times 4, 4 times 4, right? 4 times 4 is 16, if I'm correct. 16-kilometer race with intermediate points. It's about not making the climbers whatever suffer.
See, race 1 is a very, very true sprint race because they don't care about the finish time. It's like you can pretty much stop, take a break, rest, and go all out for the 300. The second race, though, is a 9-kilometer circuit with a longer climb, but it does have points for 3 intermediate sprint sections. Yeah. So it's still like, it says it's not about being the best climber. Any athlete can win by accumulating the most points.
Okay, so
those sprint sections, or
so now are they talking about, is it the fastest across or just first across? So if you do a breakaway in strategy, and the second one is like, I'm just going to attack from the gun and go and see if I can scoop up all the maximum points.
Well, then it's race number 4. The final race will take place over a 4-kilometer circuit. So the circuit's 4 kilometers, and it's repeated 4 times, which is 16 kilometers, with points to be earned at the top of a short, sharp climb.
Yeah.
So is it going to be 500 meters, 600 meters? But still, again, you're getting points for very short.
So what they're doing, this is what they're doing. Snapper. This is okay. Now we're really diving into it. So this is essentially what the Zwift World Championships were last year, but they didn't want to have the climb as the second one, where it just was it the second race or the first race where it was like 300 people and they swathed everyone away and it was like whoosh, like Victor Kapernetz is gone and
because it was elimination race. It wasn't really points. It was like you need to be the first 20 per 20. You need to be the first 30 people across the line. So otherwise you're gone.
I'm actually liking this more.
Well, this doesn't eliminate people, but
I like it more.
Like the constant short sprints. Like just
I hope maybe they can add more to it and go, hey, there's opportunities to get extra credit points or some weird thing where it's like, hey,
I'm hoping
the most one. Like the person with the most that got the max points over, or like something to where you can mathematically go, hey, if they gain this bonus, because like remember when Matthew Van Der Poel, like in the Tour de France like 3 years ago, he was not in the yellow jersey, but he did an attack like a lap ahead and he went up the climb, got like 2 bonus points from and was catching Julian Alaphilippe, and he got like 6 seconds ahead of behind. So then he went again and attacked on the final climb before the finish. He did win the stage, but he got the bonus points because they were up for offer the lap before, and then he finished, and then Julian Alaphilippe didn't finish in high enough points, and he got the yellow jersey. So it's like, I hope that they add ways to make it so like, hey, we're offering like, hey, the second on the strategy one, the second intermediate sprint point is worth, it's like a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And you put little incentives in to go, hey, strategize this, hey, whatever. And it's like somebody does the first one and like, hey, I'm going to give up the bonus ones, but I'm going to try to get the other ones. I'm going to save my energy. Like that's where they should be really diving into. We're not eliminating you, but we're going to make it so that you have to figure out on the road, and you have to do math, or you have to have a DS telling you like, hey, if you do this and you do this, it might be better.
Every lap, there's a 30-second math stop.
Hey, that's on you. Like today, I was in the race today, and it was like I came in unprepared, and the math and like whatever. I was just racing to race, but like I was in the back of my head going, who should I be worried about? Like I know Scott's ahead of me. If I beat Scott, I should probably have more points, but he might have more points because he won and I got 4th. But who else am I worried about to maintain my second place? I don't remember.
You would have had to have won, and Scott probably would have had to have come like 5th.
Yeah.
You probably would have, it would have been like, you guys would have been close.
I don't know where, I kind of, whatever. But that's the thing is like, that makes it interesting. And then you have the, what is it? The interest of the audience going, hey, if they do this bonus attack, that made that final, instead of just a regular, like who finishes, whatever, bonus seconds, like the little bonus seconds, they start to matter. It's like, hey, guys are trying to swoop up the little KOM, the little intermediate sprints. They get a little bonus seconds, like, hey, because everyone finishes the first day. Maybe if there's no time trial or prologue, everyone finishes the first day at the same time. Whoever wins the stage gets the yellow jersey. Then the next day is like, hey, I'm going to go on a breakaway, and I'm going to try to swoop up these points. And then you have teammates that go, hey, go get those points so I can keep my. That makes it interesting. So maybe they're not having issues with their drafting. They're just going, this is what we want to do with our game, and they're going to improve the draft, and I hope they do. And that's why I'm going to do the thing like, hey, can we get the direct connect into the thing and hopefully work on the yo-yoing thing, because I was riding with those bots. So I'm actually more interested in the way that now that when you first read it and you're like, it's 3 sprints, it's not 3 sprints, Lee. There are multiple sprints and there's multiple opportunities to get points, but it's actually going to be better than just eliminating riders.
No, I don't want people to be eliminated. It's just, and I'm hoping this is draft number 1, but it's just, there's a lot of timed short sprint sections.
Right.
And that's not the name of the game. Like race number 4, the race number 4, the finishing is double points. Race 3.
Race 3.
Race 3, 4 laps. The final lap.
The final lap is double points.
So yes, there is some, but just when you read it off the top, like when you first read it, you're like, sprint time section, time section.
That's why
time, and you're going, what is going on? But like it will be exciting to watch, because really, like the third race, what happens if a guy like happens in the Zwift, guy just goes off the front and gets all the points.
Yeah. And I've done that in these point races that they have, like the herd. I think it's the herd has a lot of points races. And I've done that just because, like, if I'm off the front, I'm not sprinting, but if I'm doing my study up the front, I get the points. You don't, I win. Now I don't do the whole series, so it don't matter. But that one race, that's my strategy. But that's the thing. You're going to have 30 of the world's best cyclists going after.
And well, knowing that it's going to be shorter efforts.
Yeah, and I don't think
you
it's going
have
to be
time
the
to train.
fastest through the fastest through. I hope it's not fastest through, because
I think it's the first, like
first,
on
I think
race
which
2,
is a
3,
real scratch race, which is a real points race. Because here's the thing: is the way the ZRL or Zwift Racing League is, it's at least the last time I did it. I don't know what it is now. It's always team. It's sort of this team thing where it's like, hey, I'll do fastest through the segment, and I'll focus on that. Like, I don't care where I finish, just fastest through the segment. And it's better to be in the draft. But then there's people first across the line, or FAR, is it FA first, FAL, FTS. More acronyms for everybody. Then if you're like, hey, it's not fastest, it's not the guy with the sprint is going to get it. It's more of like, hey, strategically, can I get in a break with two people that are not really sprinters, but they're going to work with me to get away? And then it forces the sprinters or the sprinter teams to chase and to use some energy. And that's where I think just first across the line points.
Now thinking about this more, because the first race strictly is fastest. It says you can pretty much sit there and do nothing and watch everyone else set times. But thinking of this as a team event,
you can
really, you could pull your sprinter and trip the line at 70 kilometers an hour in a pace line for your sprinter to come around you to set an insane 300-meter time sprint. So there's strategy as a team. But yes, sprint race number 1 is strictly the fastest person across 300 meters.
Yeah. But if you have, I don't know how many people are being allowed in, like let's say it's a team of 5. Okay. Or teams of 5 or teams of 4.
Are they turning this then into the Hammer series?
I think it should. Yeah.
Hammer series is awesome.
I bet you the UCI was like, hey, let's kind of take this. Let's take what we did last year without the elimination. Because I think the elimination sort of bummed a bunch of people out.
He took out some heavy hitters.
Because they're training, and all of a sudden, gone. And it's like,
which was also exciting though. Like, it's some big dogs got savaged, eliminated, but then at the same time, brutal. You're like,
so brutal. For the amount of effort people put in to train, to then just be eliminated on the first one. I get it; it's exciting, but it's also like it pisses off people, and they're like, "I'm not going to do this because I'm going to get eliminated."
I watched that damn Hammer Series team time trial.
Oh, I remember watching that. That was awesome.
And over and over again. If I want to get pumped for team time trials, you watch that clip and you're like, "Man, I need to do a team time trial."
Yeah, wasn't it like Sky versus? Was it Team Sky?
It came down to when if they passed Sky, they would win.
Yeah.
And so they came in and they actually blocked them in the turn and then took the inside line.
It was like crit racing with time trial bikes.
Yeah, and then they all came out of this 180-degree turn and sprinted on their time trial bikes. Yeah, it's amazing. I have to go find the link now.
You said how many people are going to be in it. There's going to be 150 men, 150 women in the semifinals. But the qualification, it said they're going to start. The qualification pathway will be held in the months leading into September. 80% of the starting spots for the semifinals will be allocated to national federations. So you have to be a Team USA, Team Canada, Team Italy, whatever. But it says the remaining 20% will qualify through the public qualification. So there's an opportunity, say 30 community members might make it to the semifinals, which I don't know. Let's say like Lucas, if he actually decides to do this, might not be on Canada USA or Canada's team, but he could qualify through, and he's certainly good enough if he gets.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for anybody.
Yeah,
the thing is, it's not Zwift. It's not Zwift.
No.
So you can as much people are like, oh yeah, it's like you can, I did RGT stuff, and there was a qualification. Zach Nair, I think, got the qualification from RGT, or who was it? Scott Cannizzaro. I think he got his because he won the Elite US, and the US took one spot from the RGT winner. And then they also had Zwift riders qualify. Yeah. And then maybe the year before they had other stuff where it was like other RGT qualifications that then raised. It's like, look, the platform is one thing. This is the thing I've talked about before is it's just e-racing or esports cycling, whatever we want to call it, right? The platform is not as important as just you're being an athlete, right? And you just have to be good. It's like, oh, I race, it's like the Cobble Classic team, and then the Ardennes Classic team, and then there's the GC teams. This is just another discipline. You're the trainer team. You're on the indoor version or the cycling esports version of whoever you are, and you can show up and be like, look, I like this as what it is. It's not just a power thing. This is strategic, right?
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how this goes. And I'm really curious about this format because I think this overall is kind of
more excited now.
Yeah, the indoor racing. I mean, this is it. Like every Saturday, Sunday, whatever, they have the KISS 100. I don't know if they do it multiple days a week, but I know I always see Nathan and Ewan and a handful of other guys doing the KISS 100. That's like one of the mainstays for longer races since I can remember ever. And over the past couple of years, the length, distance-wise, has decreased more and more. And if you want to find a even 40 kilometer race anymore, it's kind of difficult. You have to like actively search it and kind of plan, hey, I want to ride it whatever time it is, instead of just being, here's one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be, just thinking ahead, there's ultra distance indoor racing, or there's just endurance racing, right? Obviously we can't do the gravel stuff and all the other stuff, but this is the world championships for esports world championships. There can be like, there's BMX, there's different kinds of BMX. There's like downhill mountain biking. And then there's cross country, short track, all this stuff. So we can start to have a little more disciplines. I think getting an initial world championships is already a big win. And then you can do there's masters, right? There might be even masters world championships because there's masters stuff. So like older riders can get, and junior riders can race.
And what I'm curious, like I looked up the qualification, like to get on the USA national team, just out of curiosity. I don't know, obviously, there are some members in our community that would be able to, and within their country, but within the United States, there's 3 levels: fully sponsored, half sponsored, and like you pay your own way. So let's just say one of these community members, they make it through. I don't know. Let's just say Scott, he does, or you, Brian, you make it. I'm really curious how many people are going to say, I'm going to spend $2,500 to $3,000 on a plane ticket to go out to do this. You know, like that's like if they make it clear to the live finals, like that's a huge chunk of.
Hey, I bought the Zwift plays. I probably would do it. Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on people. That's the thing is like, I don't think the future of the sport is live events. I think getting it so that it's harder to cheat in your garage is the future of the sport, and the live event things I think are good and they should happen, but they're not my thing. Topic, but
yeah, I know. And what I kind of think's funny. So in my Jersey hunting, I found this place called Meteor. It's in Seattle, I believe. And I thought it was kind of funny because Eric Min follows I've never heard of him. Eric Min follows him on Instagram. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. Well, they just had like a live Echelon Racing League thing. I just saw where they posted in their Instagram story, and like Dave Thrall announced it. Like they're at the thing. They have it's a bike shop, coffee shop, and they have a Zwift. I think it's 8 things.
Dave Thrall is his new name.
I don't know his name or whatever. Dave.
Chipotle.
But yeah, so things like that, like those small live events, that's kind of cool. But what, like Casey was talking about, the live finals, how many years ago? That was like 2, 3 a year they were doing, and that would be a cool.
It's awesome. I don't think it's the future of the sport.
It may not be. No, it may not be the future.
It's like a TwitchCon. You know, like people are like, oh, TwitchCon is great, or whatever. Like the little comic convention. It's once a year, or maybe twice. You have a Comic-Con, or you have like a WonderCon or something, and it's cool to like get together, but we can't be in this sort of like virtual event thing, like sitting in a velodrome. It's like, that's, for me, it's not exciting.
No, I mean, the whole reason we started indoor riding was to not go anywhere. Stay in our house. And then they're like, well, you're doing really good at indoor riding. I think you should go fly across the world at indoor ride. It's like, no, man, I'm going to do it in my garage again.
Yeah. And I think maybe it's me, because that was a cool thing. It's like, hey, if I get good, I can go do this live event.
It's cool. Yes, it's cool. I don't think it's financially feasible for a sport that's not entertaining. I think the Olympic sports thing was cool, but it wasn't. It wasn't as. I was excited because I knew people in the competition. But
that's exactly it. Yeah, like you knew people, members of the community, where you're like, whoa, Barney's in it. That's like a kick-ass.
Yeah, watching Tepe go and all that stuff.
I think that's the biggest thing that needs to happen, not just for the Mywhoosh, but for just these bigger events in general. Getting to know you know what I mean? Like some sort of
that's
promotion.
Yeah. Like getting to know, like, obviously we have a different perspective because we stream, and, majority of the people here, we know. So we're going to root for them. We're going to look for them. But
yeah, I mean, there's a grassroots way to do it. And then there's also like a business proposal way to do it. Right. Yeah. So like Zwift Insider probably makes money now, not a lot, but it makes some money on advertising and other stuff. But like it started as essentially a fanzine to me. It was like a fan blog,
Yeah,
like,
it was just
it's like he just wanted to do it. It's like I remember growing up going to hardcore shows and punk rock shows and stuff, and people would have their new zine and and they would just Xerox copy this stuff and hand it out, and people would have a zine. They'd have an interview with the band. Well, that's sort of what we need to do. If we can do it ourselves, maybe we do it. We're doing this. This is. I'm not getting paid for this.
Topic for the next. Well, not a topic, but maybe we should take up the torch, and we should have once every month or so we have a
rider spotlight.
Rider spotlight, and bring them on and be like, hey, everybody, this is esports. I mean, we are the Spincast, and we're trying to promote esports, and here's the up and coming people you may know, people you may not know. Get them on, have a few words, and
yeah, definitely. Because that's the biggest thing. Is like, it's kind of hard to watch someone, and that's the other thing too is when you are watching these live events or national championships or whatever, and so someone might be streaming it, or like one of these larger races. People, and there's one large social media influencer that streams every now and then, and man, he may make great YouTube videos, but he really sucks at live streaming. And it is you have to learn it. Like, cause I know when I first started, I sucked. Like, so don't, I'm not saying I'm not even good now, but like, it's just improved for the way. So just that interaction.
All right. Just to preface everybody, this is no longer story time. This is Brian's opinion.
Yes. This is Brian's opinion.
Brian's opinion. Hot corner. Here we go.
Yeah. So
just lay it on thick, buddy.
But
tell us what you're talking about.
Well, it's
himself.
Yeah.
You're talking about me.
No, he's from California though, and you met him.
Is it initials VC?
Yeah. VC, the vegan cyclist.
He makes awesome YouTube videos.
He does.
I love those YouTube videos.
Yeah, I give him all the credit in the world, but tuning into one of his live streams.
They're two different things.
Completely different.
Two different things.
Live streams a whole nother ball game. If you don't have a mic, please don't live stream. That's my pet peeve. Sorry, everyone. I can't stand watching someone race and you're typing in chat and they're not paying attention to chat. Like, don't even live stream if you're not going to like interact with people.
But I don't. I barely interact with people.
What are you talking about? You talk nonstop like your entire stream.
All right, yeah.
Unless you're racing and bleeding out your eyeballs. Yeah.
Oh,
there's a lot of words.
Let me rephrase it. I would like to not interact.
If you have your glasses off and you can't read chat, that's the only time I know that you're not talking. And then you're still talking though.
I know. I try to, but that's me because for me, and I understand what you're saying, Brian. It's two different things. Like I don't do YouTube videos, but I probably could if I take the time to do it. But I just don't have the time to do it. Yeah,
it's time consuming.
And I'm not saying that maybe mine would be better. I'm just saying that they're two different arts. They're two different art forms. One, talking live off the top of your head. Now we have notes, and like when I have my show notes and I have like, I want to talk about this. That takes practice. I didn't always have this ability. Some people do. Some people just fire off and they go. So that is part of it. People tune in to him live because they enjoy his YouTube videos and they might just want to interact and talk to him. It's like going to like a panel when you have like a panel of people talking about different things like us,
Well, and actually there's another, I just read about something about streaming and it was multi-streaming. There's a lot of those big guys that multi-stream. And the problem with that is there's chat coming from 6 different ways. And you can tell that he's not paying attention. He's streaming on Twitch and YouTube. And you can tell he is totally paying way more attention to YouTube chat over Twitch chat. And, because it's a lot to take in. And so the article that I was reading was like, stop multi-streaming. Pick Twitch, pick YouTube, go full force into that because you can't have like you.
I'm just going to say, I could do a whole show without looking at chat, right? Like I know that I have that ability to kind of go, I'll just talk about stuff and I don't need chat. But when you have chat, people feel obligated to interact with chat. And there are people that add to the show. Like I'll read out the chat and I'll do that sort of thing. But there's people.
Chat out.
Yeah, I will read your chat out. You come in a day late and $1 short, and then we got Double Dipper here. But
I totally do.
There's a point where you need to make the decision. Like, hey, I'm going to like. I agree with you on the multi-stream. That's why I don't multi-stream to YouTube. And I've thought about it. I think going from what I do to the maybe put it on YouTube, because YouTube is a way easier way to not identify, but discover stuff, right? Because we're getting some discovery with Spincast and the other stuff.
Yes.
The stories that, like, if you saw a VC or vegan cyclist in a race, like I've raced with him in real life, there's something cool about, hey, like, it's like, hey, Tyler, how's it going? Because I knew him before, like I remember he only had like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And so I was like, hey man, I really enjoy some of the stuff you're doing. And so having that story, regardless if he's not doing a live stream properly or whatever, it's more of like, we need these personalities to help grow the sport, like Barney, Nathan, Teppy, a lot of us on Twitch, but there's people on, like, what's his name? Don't Get Dropped Cycling. Like if he was in a race, people were like, hey, they would be into it. Cy Bradley, the virtual Velo network. Those guys do some great stuff. And they do stuff on Mywhoosh, and there's other people doing stuff on Mywhoosh. There's indie Velo people. It's about, maybe we do start a little fanzine and go, this is the community stuff. And do some community spotlight stuff.
Yeah, I think we all want to see the sport grow. And, we're not trying to just
the competitive side or the casual. I think the casual side is pretty grown.
Yeah, no, I just think in general, like, esports in general, like we want to see it. Like Cycling Canada, there's like 11 people in my division. for next week's race. You know, I like it because I'm probably going to come top 10, but I would like to see 100 people in my division.
Yeah.
You know, but we need to get it.
We didn't do our the Canada e-cycling breakdown, and we're not on next week, so we'll break it down next week. We'll break down the results. I'm not on next week unless you guys want to do a show.
I might jump on Saturday, but the results are not posted for the third race yet. They usually do that the day after. So
okay. So
I mean, we see the results in Zwift Power, but we haven't seen the results as far as points breakdown.
Yeah, February 11th next week. We're wrapping up the show. Play the music. There's no music. Whatever. Play it now. Next week, I got to get out of here. That's why we're getting out of here. You guys can stay on. It's my wife's birthday and it's Super Bowl, and I don't know if people want to take a break off. So the 18th, your race is on the 10th, and then the elites is on the 11th.
Elites is 11th. Yes.
So then we'll do that the next week, and then Casey will be a week after that. He said he was free for that. So, any final thoughts? I think we covered a bunch today.
No, we did cover a bunch. I feel more after hearing both of your takes on Mywhoosh's race. Like, I was ready, you know, I read it 17 times, but I was ready to rant way harder than I ranted. And then it's always a good idea to hear other opinions, because after listening, I'm going, you know what? It's not going to be as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen as far as a race goes. And it still isn't the greatest, but I think it'll be entertaining and fun.
It's an evolution of, like, it's kind of taking the essence of last year, but not having the eliminations and doing more points, which is kind of okay. And I'm with you, Brian. I like the scratch stuff too. I like the racing of attrition.
Yeah.
But I do believe Mywhoosh is trying to make this a great event. And so I give them credit, and they're doing updates and stuff like that. So, like, I've had, regardless of the testing and me writing with bots or by myself, I think Mywhoosh is eventually going to have some standing in the esports casual and competitive world, because we're going to have it for 3 years or 4 years. So it's going to be around. It's not going anywhere.
Mywhoosh, if you just get on and you want somewhere to ride, man, it is beautiful. If you're not
60 frames.
Yeah, well, okay.
Sorry, go ahead, wrap it up.
It really is a good platform. Like, just as what it is, free. There's not many people there, but hey, it's got a good foundation. And hopefully through this summer, with them having this big event, we can get to where it's more smooth, less rough around the edges.
Yeah. And they're doing a Mac client. I'm almost done. Wrapping up right now. Playing the music.
All right. And they are making it more available to different iOS devices. So that is a good thing for overall. But all right, we got to go.
All right.
Lulu's ready to go. She needs a walk.
For Lee Zavries and Brian White. Brian Kelson, thanks again for joining us on Spincast. Sorry, no questions or anything. We're done. That's it. Bye.